What is pronom on and pronom y? What are the differences? I always make mistake with pronom on and pronom y. I often get these questions in my French classes, and the problem gets worse when there is no real equivalence in your mother tongue. So it's important to learn and understand the difference. Stay with me. Hello French lovers, it's Saji and you're watching a video from my YouTube channel. Once you start to feel confident in French, you will want to make more structured sentences with complements and pronouns. But what is a pronoun exactly? A pronoun is a word that represents and replaces a noun or maybe a group of a noun and has the same function. We use pronom on in order to avoid repetition. For example, tu manges du gâteau? Oui, on mange. Here, pronom on is replaced with a group of noun du gâteau. This is the first situation in which we use pronom on. So on is used to replace with du, de la, do l'apostrophe, des, un, une. So listen please. You go to a shop and you ask, est-ce que vous avez du beurre? And someone answers, oui, nous avons du beurre au fond du magasin. But I don't want to repeat du beurre, du beurre. I want to replace it with on. So the answer changes with, oui, nous en avons au fond du magasin. Or you can say, nous en avons 3 cartons. The answer can also be negative. Oh non, malheureusement, nous n'en avons plus. Pay attention. Sometimes, if you don't add quantities in your sentence, your answer may be a bit awkward. For example, someone asks you, est-ce que vous avez des enfants? And you answer, oui, j'en ai. No, it's better to say j'en ai deux, add quantity. Another thing, don't say j'en ai deux enfants because enfant here means on. On can be used with the verbs and adjectives followed by préposition de. Listen to this example. Vous avez parlé du projet de Candice pendant la réunion? Oui, nous n'en avons parlé. Here, instead of saying, oui, nous avons parlé du projet de Candice pendant la réunion, I omit all the group of the nouns after parler, and instead of that, I use on. Another example. Elle vient du bureau? Oui, elle en vient. The verbs like this can be parler de, to talk about, rêver de, to dream about, s'occuper de, to take care of, avoir besoin de, to need, se souvenir de, to remember, and etc. The adjectives like this, to be happy about can be être content de, être triste de, to be sad about, être fier de, to be proud of. Example of the adjectives. Est-ce qu'elle est fière de ses enfants? Oui, elle en est fière. On can also be used in a few expressions in French. I love this part a lot. Listen and repeat after me because you will need it. J'en ai marre. J'en ai marre. I am fed up. J'en ai assez. J'en ai assez. I have had enough. Je m'en vais. Je m'en vais. I am leaving. Je m'en fous. I don't care. Ne t'en fais pas. Ne t'en fais pas. Don't worry. Most of my examples were affirmative and in present form. What if I want to use on in negative sentences? The case can be like this. Tu manges du gâteau? no, merci, je n'en mange pas. For making negative the same as always in French, we use no pas. But here, because we have two vowels next to each other, we omit the first E. Instead of that, we use apostrophe. And pas is used at the end of the sentence after the verb. What if the negative sentence is in passé composé? The construction of the sentence is subject plus an apostrophe plus pronom on plus the conjugation of the verb avoir according to the subject plus pas plus the main verb. For example, tu as mangé du gâteau? Non, je n'en ai pas mangé. Je n'en ai pas mangé. And the last point about on. About reflexive verb, what can we do? This is very easy. We use reflexive pronoun before on. So you can say mon, ton, son, vous en, and something like this. For example, tu te souviens de ça? Oui, je m'en souviens. Voilà. And now we focus on pronom y in French. Just like on, y is used to avoid repetition. For example, tu vas à la plage? Oui, j'y vais cet après-midi. In this example, pronom y replaces indirect object à la plage. Unlike pronom on, y replaces indirect object, I mean C, O, I, complément objet indirect in a sentence. How can I understand this object is direct or indirect? The answer is easy. As the name indicates, indirect object is introduced indirectly by one preposition. The prepositions are like a, l'apostrophe, or plural form. For example, je dois aller à l'école aujourd'hui. I can continue the sentence like this. Je vais à l'école ce matin. But here, I omit à l'école, indirect object, because it is introduced after a, and instead of that, I use y. So the sentence is changed with j'y vais ce matin. Another one. Tu penses à venir demain matin? Oui, j'y penserai. À venir is replaced by y. I want to tell you one exception, one important exception. If this preposition is introducing a person or one animal, you don't use y for that. The examples above were talking about an action or maybe a place. In a case of one animal or a person, you use indirect object pronoun. For instance, tu parles au chat? Au chat here is indirect object. Because this is one animal, you use lui for talking about that. So the answer is oui, je lui parle. Another preposition is preposition of place, like dans, on, sur, chez, and etc. For example, je dois aller chez le médecin? Oui, je dois y aller. Le médecin is indirect object because it is introduced after the preposition chez. So we replace it with one y here. The next one. Le marteau est dans le garage. Tu peux me le chercher? Oui, j'y vais tout de suite. Y here means le garage. If you want to change the sentence with y into negative form, you have to obey this construction. Subject, an apostrophe, y, main verb, and at the end, pas. For instance, tu vas à l'école? No, je n'y vais pas. Subject of je, An apostrophe, it means negative form. À l'école is replaced with y. Then we have main verb of ve, and at the end pas, again the sign of negation. What if your sentence has got the pronominal verb? The construction is divided into two parts, affirmative and then negative. The affirmative form is like this: subject, reflexive pronoun, y, and then the main verb. Let's take a look at this dialogue. Tu t'habitues à l'ordinateur? Oui, je m'y habitude. Je is the subject, reflexive pronoun mo. À l'ordinateur is replaced with y, and at the end the main verb of habitude. But if you want to answer negatively, you have to say no, je ne m'y habitude pas. Subject of je, no, reflexive pronoun mo, y, main verb habitude, and at the end pas. The last point that can be a little bit complicated for you is passé composé. What should we do if the tense of our sentence is in passé composé? Again, the sentence is divided into two parts, affirmative and then negative. Affirmative form has got the construction of subject, y, auxiliary verb, and then past participle of the verb. For instance, tu es allé à l'école? Oui, j'y suis allé. But if you want to answer negatively, you have to say no, je n'y suis pas allé. So you have to have subject, an apostrophe, y, auxiliary verb, pas, and at the end, past participle. Some of you may ask, what should we do if pronom on and y exist in the same sentence and we want to use both of them? Should we place first y or on? I am going to teach you through one example. Vous avez mangé de la choucroute au restaurant? The answer is oui. On a mangé. De la choucroute is replaced with on. Au restaurant is replaced with y. But in the answer, first I use y and then on. So the answer is oui, on a mangé. Voila!